I'm just gonna say that creepy Siri voice. Okay, my friends. So today we're talking about conscious consumption and how your environment affects you, because your environment plays a huge, huge role in your well-being, your mental well-being, your physical well-being, your your well-being as a whole. Your physical space is a direct reflection of what's happening inside. So we're gonna kind of dig into what that means, and like it's science how it affects you. I'm not gonna go into the science, but it is literally science how your environment affects your being. Um, One of the things that I just want to like really quickly touch on first is self-talk, because self-talk is not really your environment, but it is, because you live in your brain and your brain is all self-talk. So in a way it is your environment. Just like if your house were super messy and you didn't feel good because like your space is cluttered, it just feels dirty, it smells like the trash that you haven't taken out in 2 weeks. The same thing can happen in your brain when you don't have positive self-talk, because self-talk is the one thing that you'll never be able to get away from, right? Like you could leave your house and go for a walk in the clean air outside, but you can't leave your mind. And so you should make sure that your mind is just as clean and orderly as your bedroom would be on a day when you're feeling good. Which also plays into like the things that you feed your mind. So like every single thing that is happening around you, the color of these tapestries, this thing in the air, this incense that's blowing, the sound of cars driving down the road. My subconscious is picking up on every single detail. Whether I realize that I am hearing the cars or not, my brain is taking that and storing it somewhere. And so when you're listening to music, when you're watching TV shows, when you're hanging out with certain people, when you're talking to yourself negatively, or when you just like hear a conversation on the road, your brain is taking all of that in, all of it, every single syllable, every single atom that you see, even just like a glance, you see it, you take it in. And so it's really, really, really important that you understand that everything around you does affect you in some ways, because if you're listening to music that's all like fuck me, just get money, whatever, that's like super like not good music, like the words are just super degrading to one person or another, or they're like putting people down, or just like for whatever reason the words of the music are just like gross words, then like that gets written into your brain, gets written into the way you're thinking, gets written into the way your brain takes in information. And it's the same as like if your friends are talking down on somebody and you happen to be sitting in the same room, like you're taking that energy in and it's affecting you. Whether you know it or not, it is affecting you. And that it just all plays into just being conscious, which maybe I got a little bit off track there, but it all plays into being conscious of the things you are subconsciously consuming, which sounds counterintuitive, but it is ultimately just like really fine-tuning what you allow your being to take in. So like boundaries that I have set for myself is that I listen to music that is all positive affirmation words. Like if a song, even like one line is like says the word of like I am depressed and I would rather lay in my room and sleep, like I'm not going to listen to that song, because that one sentence in the song will be written in my brain. And so a boundary that I've set is I listen to great music. And affirmation music, some people are like spiritual Christian music, whatever, it's like not good music, but like no, I've got a fire playlist of songs that are fuel for my brain. Elliot is probably so annoyed with this same playlist that I literally listen to every day.
It's the same like 30 songs.
Oh, I am so picky with that I listen to because every single lyric I have to embody. Anytime somebody asks, "What's my favorite song?" I literally say any song that has good lyrics.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
Elliot, in my defense, the reason that I like to listen to the same like 30 songs over and over again is because I also like to like verbally be with those affirmations. And so if I don't know the words of a song and I'm not able to sing along with it, especially if it's like songs like literally just now I was listening to a song that's called My Energy is Infinite, and that's the entire song. She's just like, my energy is infinite. Like I listen to it so many times because I sing along with it so that I'm like literally just singing affirmations all day long. Another thing that I have super strict boundaries on is I simply will not allow myself to be around people who I wouldn't want to be. Like if there are people around me that I'm going to use my past as an example here. I used to hang out with a lot of people. I used to be a big pothead in high school. Like I'm just going to be honest, guys. I smoked a lot in high school and I was around a lot of people. No offense, I still love people, but I was around a lot of people who just wanted to smoke and watch YouTube videos all day and eat chips. And that was my reality because I surrounded myself with those people and that's what I was consuming, is that this is my environment, this is where I fit in. And when I moved to Montana and I took control of the things around me, which Natalie will touch on in a few minutes, I took control and I set some serious boundaries of like, I don't want to introduce myself as, hi, I'm Jordan, I'm a pothead, I do nothing but smoke and eat chips on my couch all day. Like that is not who I am. That's not who I am. And so why am I surrounding myself with people who turn me into that? Which I'm not saying that to degrade anybody, which is why I'm not using names. And I'm saying I openly love every single person. But those people I'm not around anymore, and I don't connect myself with them anymore for a reason, because I don't want those habits. I don't want habits of people who are money addicted and are in the rat race of, I go to work because I live to work. It's not my moral, and so I don't surround myself with people who have that mindset. It might work for some people. Everybody to each their own. But for me, if I wouldn't be proud to see myself in somebody else's shoes, I'm not going to hang out with them. And I'm not saying that as a degrading statement, but in the ways of, in this case, it is okay to be selfish with the people that you consider. I say consider instead of judge, because I'm not judging them. I'm not saying you are below me or you suck because you'd rather do this and I don't want to do that. I'm saying I'm not giving you negative like you suck. I'm just saying that I consider that as something I'm not interested in, and it's just something I keep in mind. And so I don't interact with it.
Yeah, I mean, they say you are like a direct reflection of your 5 closest friends, so.
Yeah. And my mom said that to me from the time I was 13 years old and had friends that wanted me to start drinking young. And she's like, you're who you hang out with, Jordan. And I was like, whatever, mom. Like, I can do whatever I want. I'm Jordan. I am who I want to be. But no, it's so true. You are exactly who you hang out with. You turn into the people you hang out with the most, which is why now I hang out with myself. I'm my own best friend. Because everything about the authentic Jordan that I have met is somebody who I am genuinely proud to say, I am Jordan. This is what I do. This is what I'm working towards. Like the narrative has switched because I decided that, you know what, this is an area where it is completely acceptable to be selfish in my boundaries. And the other thing, I just wanted to touch one last quick thing, and then I'm going to hand it off to Natalie because she's got a great message to share. Your circumstances do affect your life. And obviously there are situations and things that come up and circumstances that happen that are out of your control and might not be pleasant to go through. But that does not mean that you are that experience that is not pleasant. So you are not defined by the things happening around you, positive or negative. A good way to look at this is to take things as neutral. So like, maybe I lost my job and now I'm living very depressed and sad and secluding myself in my apartment because I'm so sad and I'm so upset and I'm so mad at whatever happened that I don't even want to go out and try to do better. I'm just going to sit in my apartment and just self-loathe all day. You could do that in which the situation is controlling your reality and the circumstance has overtaken you in a sense. Or you could recognize your own power and say, you know what? I am still me and I still have all these great things in my life, regardless that I lost my job. And honestly, there are always better options. I truly believe that there is always a step up you can take. So even if you love that job, there is most certainly a job you will love more. And so by shifting your mindset and seeing that actually my life isn't falling apart because I lost my job, it might be opening a new door. Then you are making a conscious choice to be better than what your circumstance is giving you. And that's just like, I always tell myself whenever I feel unsure about things happening in my life. I've got some things going on right now. I've got a big decision to make about my future within the next couple months. And some things have come up that have made that really difficult to like consider. And I had to realize that it is my choice to be greater than the circumstance. Although the circumstance seems like it sucks, it does not define me. And I have the choice to take this experience that just is. It's not positive or negative because there is always something better and it always could be worse. So take it as negative or as, no, not negative. Take it as neutral. It just is as it is. And I'm going to choose to overcome circumstance. I'm going to be better than this circumstance.
Well, yeah, because the thing is, we just think of the now sometimes when you shouldn't. For example, like you just think of how it's affecting you currently and it seems like a bad thing, but you have no idea how that particular experience is gonna affect your future. It could lead you to new people that you would never would have happened, or like something. It's just so many things can happen that wouldn't have happened if that negative thing happened. So it's just you can't know. You can't judge something if it's positive and negative until you see it down the line, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we get up so much in like thinking that we know what's best for ourselves and like having a life path. Like whenever we're little, we're like, this is exactly what I'm going to do. And this is exactly there. Like when I was in 7th grade, I thought I was going to be an engineer and I hate math. Like I don't even know what I was talking about. Like, and I literally built out this plan. But one thing that I really stick to is that if it's not this, then it's something better. So anytime I get disappointed, I'm like, well, if it's not that, then it's something better because the universe has something better for me and what I'm actually meant to do.
Right. And I can honestly say that I could name you 3 things right now, which were all 3 major events in my life that have made me come to the place that I am. And they, at the time, were the absolute worst things I could have thought to experience. Like literally the 3 lowest you would say lowest points of your life that I would tell you, like my 3 lowest points of life are da 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 da, ended up being the absolute best thing that ever happened to me. And I can say that without a doubt. Like there's literally a direct correlation from when I thought I was at rock bottom and wanted to just stop everything to it led me to literally living the life of my dreams. Like there's a direct correlation. So
Yeah,
yeah,
just like how we would have never gone to Puerto Rico if we never crashed your van. At the time, it was the
exactly.
most terrible thing, but it
Yeah, that
literally
was one of the
got
things
us
that
to a
made me
farm that we never would have went to and met people that we never would have met.
exactly.
I went to a country that we never would have been to,
Yeah.
at least
And at
not
the
for a
time
while.
when I crashed the van, I was like, my life is over. This is my van. I love this van. We were meant, our whole 6-month plan was around this van, and now it's gone. And then, yeah, like you said, it turned out to be the best experience we've ever had together. Yeah. Choose to be greater than your circumstance, because there is always something better. And you could what if that. And you could say, well, maybe like what if there's like this or this or this. You could what if that. But if you just choose to just know that there is something better, you don't have to what if that. You don't have to maybe give the possibility that there's not anything better, because there always is. Don't what if the bad thing. Just trust that there is something better. How about that?
That
I feel like I got a little bit off track. That's okay.
I love the messages though.
Okay, Natalie, I'm gonna let you share what
All
your
right.
heart desires. I'm so excited to hear what you have to
Okay.
say.
So, as Jordan has already said, your environment really does affect every aspect of life. Again, with your mindset and then the physical world around you. So, the first thing that I do whenever I am close to somebody that is really in a low vibration is I tell them to first clean their space. So, like, I literally went to my sister's apartment and deep cleaned her room. Like, I don't think people realize how important it is to have control over your environment. And like everything in my room has a spot, and that just puts ease to my. So that's one thing that I really recommend that you do. But also, I think that most people don't have, like, they don't understand that you actually have control of your circumstances and your, like, a lot of times people get caught up in like, well, I have to do this. This is an obligation. Well, of course, there are certain obligations that we do have, but you also do have free will, and you have control over it. Like, if there's something that's absolutely not giving me happiness, for example, this is a very like minor thing that happened in my life, but my freshman year, I played basketball and it was absolutely horrible. But like in my little small town, Jordan, you know, and Ashley, like you guys know, like
Yeah.
everyone, oh, you can't quit. You can't quit. Like, what, everyone's gonna think you're a failure and that, all this stuff. And I quit. Like, it did not serve me. In the winter now, I completely get to focus on myself. And like, people think that's like small, but truly just doing what makes you happy, it changes everything. And actually having that free time to go within, it changes. Like, it changed my entire life, because I used to just cram everything. Like, I thought that I always had to be like productive and having something to do, which that didn't give me any time on who I even was. You know, like, if you don't take time to reflect about yourself, how are you going to be able to like meet other people if you don't even know yourself? You can only love and accept others as much as you love and accept yourself. But that is why it is so important to just set those boundaries. And that is what I learned last year, is like setting boundaries. It becomes addicting after you do like a first few. Like, now when I set a boundary, it's like, it's so empowering. Like, people really need to set those boundaries and really tune in what they want and just do what makes you happy. But with this piece of paper, so I saw this little worksheet probably 2 years ago, whenever my life was literally at rock bottom, like mentally. Physically, it wasn't that bad. Like, definitely a lot worse things, but mentally, I was in the shower crying every night. When I'm not even kidding. Like, that is like literally my lowest point of my life. But I literally, one day when I was like literally on my knees, like saying, please, like, universe, God, I don't even care. Like, please help me. Like, because I need control of my life. Like, what is happening to me? This isn't who I am. And literally, I got this random little like Pinterest quote that like came out of nowhere, and it had this little like list format. And obviously, like, I have grown it more than what this little thing was. But I literally show everyone this. But basically, you have your piece of paper and you make a list. So you like a little T chart with just 2 lines. So, oh wait, no, not that first. First, you just like make bullet points of like your everyday living. So like little activities that you do every single day. And you can do this list for like a bunch of little different things. But I start off with like, this is what I do every day. But after I did that, I made one with, here are the list of people in my life, like every single person, like little interactions that I have every single day, or every once a week, I put them down. Or with your work, I describe that. Like every little thing I put down. And then you make a T chart with 3 columns. And in the right, well, it doesn't really matter which column you put it in, but on one, you want to put the things that really fulfill you and really make you passionate and give you joy. And then in the middle, you want to put things that are neutral, like you don't feel opposed to them, but you also like don't have a little spark of joy. They're just like the neutral things in life, which are going to be most of your things. And then you're going to have the things that like completely drain you. And whenever I did this list, like literally seeing it out in this format, it made sense of why I literally felt so bad. I had like one thing that was in my thing that gave me joy. And like, there was so many things that were draining me. And then what I did, of course, you can't like get rid of everything that's draining you in one sitting, but I had to start like setting boundaries because a lot of them were the people that I was around and even in my family. And then I had to like start quitting. I don't even call it quitting. Like I just had to get rid of it. Like there were so many things that I was involved in situations, even like drama. Like I even put that on the list because that is things that drain you. And then I put like my mindset. Like you just have to work those things and then like adjust your life based on this list. And so I want you guys to take the time to do that. You don't obviously have to do it right now because that took me a long time to do. Like I made one with my everyday activities because like we humans get in like the habit of doing the exact same things every single day. You know, we start off, we get coffee, all that stuff. Like you list everything. And then making ones with the people in your life was the one that like really changed everything. Cause like, I don't think people realize how impactful other people are to how you feel. Like, this is why I spend so much of my time alone. Cause like, there's most people that I'm around and they just, not even that I'm better than them. It's just that I feel so drained being around people who are like-minded. And that's why it's so important. Go within and know who you are before you go out there and just hang out with people who don't deserve your time and energy. But also, in order to set these boundaries and to actually take the risk of hurting people's feelings, which is not the intention, but like you have to do that in order to grow. You have to have confidence. And this is like, a lot of things tie into confidence. Like, first of all, your mindset and what you wear and how you talk and everything that has ever happened to you in your life, like the circumstances that Jordan was talking about, that affects your confidence. People are afraid to speak up more than ever. They're afraid to wear and embrace themselves, like wear what they want and embrace who they actually are because of what they think people will say or what people have said, even though we shouldn't be living for people we won't even know in 2 years, you know? So really, in order to build your confidence, I would say like it all starts with setting boundaries. I got so much confidence after I set boundaries with people. That is something that so many people don't do because they're afraid to hurt someone's feelings. But I've realized the people that I specifically had to set boundaries with, yes, it really stung and it wasn't a good conversation whatsoever. But now, like I've seen them grow so much because someone had to put them in their place. Because the way that they treated not just me, but other people is not acceptable. So being that wake-up call for someone, it's so painful to like have hurtful words be said to you, but just knowing that that can change their life too. So look at it as that and not just like, I'm going to say every single bad, and I didn't say a bunch of bad things about them. It's just like, you have to make them aware of how they are making other people feel. Because a lot of times people don't even realize how what they do affects other people. But that is mainly everything that I've covered. It's kind of all over the place, but that's
No,
kind of
it's
everything.
good.
Thank you.
Good is good. So, something that I am like kind of stuck on is like the confidence thing, like how to set those painful boundaries, because boundaries are not just like a this is what I want kind of thing. It's when you're setting a boundary, you're sacrificing something.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to ask yourself, like, what do I want and what am I willing to sacrifice to get there? I sacrificed many friendships and people that were literally my best friends for years. I'm talking like 6-7 years, did everything, lived with these people, like best friend. And when I realized that although I loved that person so much, that they might have been part of the reason that I was allowing myself to not live to my potential, I leveled up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also something you have to realize of like, not everybody is on the same journey. And like Natalie said, doesn't mean that I'm better than anybody. It doesn't mean that I'm better than you or that they're better than me or whatever. It doesn't mean that I'm above anybody. It means that I am at a different state of my growth. I'm at a different level of learning. I'm at a different state of being that is not, it doesn't benefit from what this person is giving me. And so boundaries are painful and you will lose people. I'm just telling you right now, like when you set boundaries, you are going to lose people. You're going to lose things that you love. You're going to lose habits that you thought that you've been doing your whole life because you thought it was good for you. And then you're like, actually, I don't enjoy doing that. Why do I do that?
Mm-hmm.
You realize that you've been giving your power away the whole time.
Exactly.
And you don't have to lose the people too. Like you're making it sound like you're never gonna see these people again, but there's definitely like a lot of people, myself included, will put their intention. They'll like scatter their attention and like kind of fit other people's schedule. Like it's like sometimes I want to hang out with my friends and like they can't, but like once they can, and it's like it kind of doesn't work for me. Like sometimes I'll put my shit aside to hang out with these people that hanging out with these people isn't benefiting me or my personal growth.
Right.
When this is when I should be like, no, I can't hang out. I got to do my shit first.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't mean that you're gonna like lose your people. Like you're gonna lose your friends, but like you have to
Right.
put yourself first and
Mm-hmm.
do your own growth before
Right.
yeah.
Choose the habits that will benefit you before you allow people to be in your space, which I agree with. From my experience though, I have actually lost people, which yeah, I understand what you're saying though. It's like it's not like that every time. Like everybody's journey is different, but like I lost many people just because I couldn't be concerned with what was happening there anymore. I like I said, I leveled up. I was on a different, I didn't want that anymore. But yeah, it can be as simple as just like your friends are going out, it's Friday night, we're gonna go party. And as much as you want to go party with them, you've got this thing you want to work on. And you're like, sorry guys, like tonight I'm working on me. This is time for me. We'll party next week. It can be as simple as that.
For sure.
Something that I want to hear from everybody. This is something that I'm interested to hear. What is something that like one little boundary that you could set that would take your power back? Even if it's just like the tiniest thing of like, which I'll give my example in a minute because it's fun. It's kind of silly and funny and interesting. But I want to hear like what is something that you could implement in your life today that is one boundary you could set that would impact your well-being positively. There are millions of things.
Yeah, I've set so many boundaries within the last 2 years. And I think one, I don't know if you would consider it a boundary because it's not really me setting a boundary with another person, but it's like with me going after all these business things that I'm going after and like having that fear, not even fear, but you know what I mean? Like you're just like scared because you've never done it before and you're uncomfortable. And I'm learning how to live in that uncomfortableness. But you know, people say stuff and people criticize things. So like one boundary I would say is like for myself is to not let that get under my skin and not let them change what I know is in my, like what I'm here to do and my purpose. That is probably one boundary that I definitely need to work on, because there have been times where close friends of mine, Jordan, know exactly who I'm talking about, have literally degraded me right when I started to try to make those moves. And that really affected me for like 2 days. And so like, I'm really working on like, people are going to say stuff, but I'm going to do it regardless. I'm going to turn my fear into action.
Yeah, and it can be boundaries within, I mean, honestly, setting boundaries with yourself is, I mean, ultimately every boundary is set for yourself. So even if it's just like today, my boundary is that all week long, I am going to make my bed no matter what. Like that can count as a boundary because you're holding yourself accountable to something that will make you feel better.
Yeah, people need to be disciplined. And so like when you set a boundary with someone else saying, I will not allow you to I will not tolerate this behavior anymore, you need to stay true to that with like for yourself as well. Like when you set a boundary with someone else, you're also setting one to yourself. You can't just say that and then go and completely switch it up. Like you have to stay disciplined to what you have set. And yeah.
Ashton, what's a boundary you could set?
Setting a boundary with myself to stop negative self-talk like in my head.
Yes. Why is that important?
Because if that stops, my confidence will go up, which is the end goal.
Yes. And because remember when we talked about irrational beliefs and how to turn your self-talk into actually that's not true, I am worthy here. That's a really good boundary.
Yeah, I want to talk about the negative self-talk as well, because I used to be the queen of it. I have been so hard on myself for as long as I can remember. I could literally accomplish so much in my life, but it was never enough. I could like win first place in something. I'd be like, I could have done better when I was literally doing my best. And it would literally, not just in sports or whatever I was competing in just like life, I'm like, I could have done that better. I was always degrading myself when I was literally trying my best. And I would literally get in panic attacks with one thought having so much power over me and spiraling down into a bunch of million ones. And I've gone to therapy for like a year now. And so I've gotten really good at reframing my thoughts, which it used to take a long time to like get to that and like instantaneous reframing. But one thing that like really helps me with reframing thoughts is the second that I hear something is not in my highest self, and I know that's not me, I know that's my subconscious, I know that's the fear that has been fed into me, I will instantly try to reframe it. And at first you're not going to believe what you're saying. It might be like, man, like you look in the mirror and you're like, man, I don't like this about myself. We all do that. That's normal. We're human. And instead I'll be like, no. And then I'll like reframe it. Be like, well, no, that part of me is beautiful because that allows me to walk or breathe or whatever it is. And just reframing it into that format is so powerful. And like the second that I say something bad about myself out loud, I really try not to say it out loud, but like usually it's internally, I will say like 5 things that I like about myself physically or mentally or whatever.
Right. Turn the lack mindset into what you're actually capable of. And really quick, we have 2 minutes left, but Elliot, I want to hear a boundary that you were wanting to set for yourself.
Yeah, I couldn't really think of one, to be honest.
No?
I don't have certain ones, but I just have so many little things that I've been working on. So
Give an example, one little thing.
I've been more conscious. Like, I don't know how to set that as a boundary, but I've been really trying to be more conscious at work on how I talk to people and how like communications with people like affect me and how I affect others. So it's not really a boundary, but I really just try to refocus as much as I can during my day to just retune in with just the present and just be a part of everyone, I guess.
Yeah. And that's a good one. That actually is a boundary of you are making sure that you're conscious of your life and that you're not just doing things to do them, that you are here and that you are understanding things that are happening instead of like getting into that just like unconscious flow. So that actually is a really good one. Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna share mine. Maybe I'll just share really super duper quick. I think I have like a minute left, so I'm just gonna wrap this up really quick. A couple years ago, this is just like a funny story actually. I set a huge boundary of I refuse to let society tell me what I am and what I am not. And something that has always bothered me is women's body image things. And I stopped shaving my armpits because my boundary was that I am not going to let other people's opinions or society as a whole tell me what I am capable of doing or what I am, which is a hairless woman, because if you're not a hairless woman, you're not beautiful for whatever reason. And now, 2 years later, I have not shaved my armpits. And this is why I say it's silly, because it seems like a little silly thing of like, oh, just whatever. She just wanted to talk about her armpit hair. But like, that was a huge boundary that I set of like, I am not letting other people tell me what I can and can't do with my own body, even. Like, and now I am even more confident than ever before because I am so comfortable in my natural skin because I refuse to let other people's thoughts invade my energy. So that's like a funny thing. It's like one of the favorite boundaries I've ever set because now I am a proud hairy woman. But like even a boundary like that is just a simple boundary of I will not let others' opinions define who I am and what I can and can't do. Even that counts. And it will change your life. The tiny things will change your life.
Tiny habits.
And yeah. Wait, what did you say?
Tiny habits.
Tiny habits. I'm reading a book called The Tiny Habits That Change Everything. Okay, my friends, I am going to quickly wrap this up before I lose the call and lose the video. I love you all. Tomorrow we're making vision boards. So get your photos ready, get your vision boards ready, get your affirmations ready, and we are going to chill on the call and talk about why vision boards are so important while we make them.
Yay!
Thank you, Natalie, for sharing today. I loved your message.
Of course. Thanks for having me on. I wish I could have done more, but I was busy with work.
That's okay. That's okay. You did perfect.
Thank you.
I love every single one of you, and I love myself, and I love Natalie, and I love Ashton, and I love Elliot, and I especially love Elliot. And I will see you guys tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye, guys.